Hello everybody, it is at some point in November and I haven't really filmed a proper reading vlog in what seems to be a very long time. I think it's been about 2 months or so. I have been really busy for the past pick a random amount of time and you won't be wrong. Which is why I haven't really taken the time to film a reading vlog, but frankly, I kind of need it right now because if I don't use this accountability method, which is really what I use these vlogs for, I will probably be doing nothing because I kind of feel fed up with everything, you know? I spent last week traveling the north part of Bulgaria for reasons that weren't as much fun as they were obligatory. And I was really looking forward to coming back to the city where I live, where I am right now, so that I can go back to my sort of normal rhythm and enjoy a little bit of relaxation in a way. Unfortunately, as soon as I came back, there started popping up issues here and there. First with electricity, we spent about 2 days with absolutely no electricity due to some very poorly managed construction work that is happening nearby. And it's not the first time that something like this happens, but it's the longest that it's taking them to fix it so far. And I'm really hoping this is not going to become a trend of things getting worse and worse. But we'll see. We're on the doorstep of winter and this is usually the time when things start to go to hell. On top of that, I had a lot of work engagements where I had to go and meet people, and while they were nice people, it wasn't the best moment because I actually managed to injure myself. Well, not really injure myself because I do have issues with a few of my spinal segments and they irritate a nerve every now and then, which then gradually blocks my entire body if not managed properly, and of course, I did not manage it properly. So I spent a few days in excruciating pain, but that is slowly subsiding now, so I thought this was the perfect moment to introduce some more things to do in my day-to-day life and start filming this vlog. So welcome to this reading vlog, and before we continue with the complaining, let's look at the books that I'm actually reading. Starting with An Echo of Things to Come by James Islington. This is an adult epic fantasy and the second book in the Lycanius trilogy, and I'm about 30 pages into it. It is interesting so far, but not much has happened as you can imagine, so not much to say here. The second book that I'm reading is The Fires of Heaven by Robert Jordan. This is book number 4 in the Wheel of Time series, and I have made some progress, 235 pages into it, and somewhat surprisingly, I am quite enjoying it. And then the last book I am currently reading is Only Dull People Are Brilliant at Breakfast by Oscar Wilde, which is not necessarily a book per se, it's more so a collection of random thoughts that he has had. A lot of them are brilliant, some are somewhat silly, but all of them are highly pretentious and, to be honest with you, really entertaining. So I'm about 50% into it. It's not very long, but I'm not reading too much from it because I like to sit and think about what I read from him and whether it actually has any merit or he was just really drunk when he wrote them. Either way, as I said, highly entertaining, so I'm taking my time and enjoying it quite a lot. But today, I think I want to start reading yet another book, and that's gonna be The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson in this beautiful, very expensive Kickstarter edition that I feel very bad about even touching, let alone reading from it. But I think I'm gonna try to read from it because I also very much want to enjoy the beautiful things that I have. I don't believe a book needs to stand on the shelves and never be touched. I also don't plan on ever selling it, so might as well enjoy my possessions. This is the 4th and final book from the year of Sanderson that I haven't yet read, and also one of the 2 remaining works from the Cosmere that I haven't yet read, and I put it as a goal for myself to complete all the published Cosmere works before Wind and Truth comes out in early December. I can see some people already unpacking it on Instagram, and that really upsets me because I want to read it right now, okay? And the thought that somebody else gets to read it before me really bugs me for some reason, you know? Either way, that's not the point of this. So I'm gonna start reading this one and hopefully vlog the whole process. We'll see if I have the patience and the fortitude to do that, and whether I think anybody's gonna have the patience and fortitude to watch it all. So it is Thursday. I'm gonna spend a nice quiet evening at home, hopefully only reading this. It is about, what time is it? Wow, I can't believe I had to stand up for this. It is about 6 p.m. So I'm gonna make myself a cup of tea and wear my Mistborn pin. I actually have several Cosmere themed pins and I'm going to wear them all during this vlog, I think, whilst reading this in White Sand, which is the final work from the Cosmere that I haven't yet read, and enjoy a nice quiet evening at home, and we'll see where we go from there. Is there a more pretentious fruit than the pear? Okay, I'm at chapter 6, which is 53 pages into the book, and so far we have gotten information about our main character mainly, which planet he comes from. We get some hints as to which planets he might have visited based on the skills that he has acquired. He has a companion that puts a little bit of a question mark in my head because there are some hints as to what that companion might be, but they come from 3 different planetary systems into the Cosmere and kind of a combination of the 3, or at least they exhibit qualities that correspond to these different magic systems into the Cosmere. This is very unclear, I understand, but I'm trying not to spoil anything. We also got some information about the planet that the action is happening on, and I think it's safe to say that we've never seen this planet in the Cosmere before. There is a very interesting manifestation of the investiture here, and I very much enjoy it, especially the way that the sun is presented. I am really curious, and there's been a lot of action in the book. Basically, 98% of what we read has been only action. We're thrown into the situation with no proper explanations, and we have to kind of infer things. We learn them as our main character learns them, which I really like, and it kind of reminds me of The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England, which is the second book from the year of Sanderson, and so far my least favorite Sanderson's book. But this book only reminds me of it insofar as the structure of the introduction is pretty much the same. We have our main character waking up in a strange place that he has never visited before and has to now discover things, except in the other case, our main character didn't have any memories of who he was and how he'd gotten there. And here our main character clearly had the intention of escaping, and that's how he ended up in this place. I don't have too many impressions so far because it's still very early in the book, but I am enjoying myself quite a lot, and I'm reminded once more why I enjoy Sanderson's writing so much. I know that it's not favorite to a lot of people and people find it simplistic, and it is in a lot of ways, but I think Sanderson has a very nice way in enveloping you in the world that he's introducing and being very detailed in his plans for how things are supposed to be. You kind of feel that there is a plan behind everything, and I really enjoy that. And also he writes funny characters that I enjoy. They're very cheesy at times, but I don't mind. I like a bit of cheese every now and then. So I'm gonna continue reading this and maybe update you a little bit later, if not tomorrow. Just look at that beautiful weather outside. And I have to go to the office. Lovely. So very lovely. Okay, so I'm back home from work and the weather is still as disgusting as it was this morning. However, I've been bullied by some of my colleagues to go and see a string quintet play tonight. And while I really wanted to spend a nice quiet evening at home, I do enjoy classical music very much, so I think it will be nice to go and see it. So I'm gonna do that. I don't know if I'm gonna film any of it. If I do, I'll insert the footage. If not, well, it'll just have to do with my face. Now, I'm gonna go prepare for that and head out. Ugh, I really don't wanna do this. I just came back from the concert and it was absolutely beautiful. It was a chamber concert, so a very intimate atmosphere in a way, and there's something very special about seeing the musicians make the music come alive out of the instruments that is just magical. So that was great. They played some of the classics, Chopin, Dvorak, but they also played the music of a contemporary Bulgarian composer whose name is Dobromir Kisyov, I think. I'm gonna put him on the screen and in the video description if you'd like to check him out. I was very, very impressed. So now it's about 9 p.m. I'm gonna go take a shower, and then I think I'm gonna sit down and do some reading because I would like to make some progress in The Sunlit Man, because I haven't read anything today. I haven't had a single minute for myself. So let's go ahead and do that. So, it is Saturday and the weather is actually really nice today. I woke up early, took a little bit of a walk, took a shower, cleaned around, and please excuse my hair, I haven't brushed it ever since. Last night, I read until about 11 p.m., maybe 11:30, and I reached page 153. And honestly, I have learned quite a lot about this world already. I already know who our main character is actually because he appears in the Stormlight archive, and he's a secondary character there, but it was very easy to distinguish who he was because he is a scholar and there are very few of those that we actually follow into the book. And we also managed to see Hoyd already, which is always a pleasure whenever it comes to a book from the Cosmere. And because of Hoyd's appearance, I was actually able to finally confirm who this character is, which is why I'm wearing this pin today. It's one of Hoyd's alter egos, so to speak. But I also learned quite a lot about this planet and was able to kind of put it into the timeline a little bit. I can already tell you which books you should definitely read before you pick this one up. But there's also a lot of mystery as to what happened to this main character that we follow here before he got to this planet, because he's very changed from what I've last seen of him. I already know what this change is related to because they outright say it at one moment, but there's no details as to how that happened. I think I'm going to reread Dawn Shard again after I read this one. First of all, because Dawn Shard was a great novella and I really enjoyed the story there, but also because I think it might give me some further hints. Frankly, I don't really know if I'm going to have the time, probably not, because plot twist, I'm actually reading yet another book that I forgot that I started last month, and that is Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. It was part of my October TBR, but I wasn't able to finish it on time, and because I was so focused on other things last month, I didn't really pay that much attention to what exactly was written in the book. I mean, I followed the story, but the little details were escaping me, so I started it from the beginning again, because you don't know this about me, but Anthony Bourdain is one of the few celebrities that I've ever paid real respect to, because he always seemed like a real person rather than a personality, and maybe he was just very good at pretending, but I don't really think so. I also have great respect for the chef profession, and the way that he speaks has always been very appealing to me. So I started it again this morning, and I am 20 pages into it, so not very far, but I am enjoying the book way more than I did before, and there's so much meaningful stuff going on here. I really like the formatting of the book because not only did he write it, but then he went over his writing, reread it, and left some notes. It's so fun to read a book that has been annotated by the author after some time has passed. I really appreciate that. It's a lot of fun. It's great. It's him through and through. So if you've watched Anthony Bourdain before and if you like him, I think you're gonna love this book. And if you're not familiar, I advise you to get familiar with him. He's great. Or was. Rest in peace. I feel like all of my heroes have been struck by death, which is not all that unusual because after all, it comes for all of us sooner or later. And on that great cheery note, I'm gonna go ahead and drink my coffee and do some more reading. So it is much later, and did I do anything of what I said I was gonna do today? Probably not, because I don't remember what I said I was gonna do today. What I did was I sat down and read a lot from The Sunlit Man and a little bit from Kitchen Confidential. I think I read about 20-30 pages from Kitchen Confidential, and I am at page 309 from The Sunlit Man, which is great progress, I think, and I'm having such a good time with this book. I'm learning so much about the Cosmere. I'm taking very extensive notes, but I'm having a lot of theories. It's just so much fun. I love these books. I love the Cosmere. That's it for now. In addition to everything else, I had a pumpkin laying around here for a very long time, and I didn't want it to go bad, so I made some puree from it. I don't know if you can see. It doesn't look very appetizing, but it's because of the color of the food processor that it's in. And I think I'm gonna make soft pumpkin cookies, which is a recipe I've been eyeing for about a month. So I'm gonna try to do that. And because last time I was talking about baking cookies, I didn't show it, I'm gonna try to show as much as I can from it, and we'll see if it's worth your time. Stop playing with the egg. What are you doing? No. Alright, a quick update. I'm on page 345 from The Sunlit Man, and we just reached a moment where the main character finally says his own name and admits who he actually is, and the act of doing so brought tears to his eyes. And I'm gonna be really honest with you, it kind of did to mine too. Oh, this was so good. This is so good. It is 9:30 p.m. and I just finished reading The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson, and I enjoyed it so very much. I'm pretty sure you can tell because I can't stop smiling. This was such a great book. It set up so many things for the Cosmere. My head is abuzz with all the theories that I have, and now I want to go back and reread certain parts so that I can make sure that my notes are proper. And I definitely want to go back and reread Dawn Shard, though I don't really know whether I'm gonna have the time. It was really good. Oh, this is probably, I don't want to say my favorite of the year of Sanderson novels, because Trace of the Emerald Sea was also very good and we had a lot of hidden information there as well, but I think this one was more on point because I think there was a better plan for it. And after reading the postscript of the book, I think I can safely confirm that. Now that we're done with this one, I don't really know what I'm going to do for the rest of the evening, but I'm going to definitely take a little bit of a break from reading so that I can relax my eyes. I'll probably update you more tomorrow. Good morning on a Sunday. It is about 9 a.m. and I just made myself some coffee and answered a few emails, and that's pretty much all I had as a mandatory thing that I needed to do today. So last night I did some more reading from The Fires of Heaven by Robert Jordan. I am now at page 248, so it wasn't much reading, it was like a chapter or two, and I am enjoying it still. I am slightly annoyed, as always, by the girlies in this book because frankly these are some of the most unreasonable people I have ever had to follow follow, and it's sort of presented as a nice thing by the author, and maybe that's the kind of women that he likes, rash, hypocritical contrarians. And while I am myself this way sometimes, it can be like that all the time, especially in some situations that really don't require this sort of nonsense. But the story is interesting enough for me to be somewhat ignoring this for now. Also, sorry if you're hearing the washing machine. So I'm gonna read a little bit more from this book, maybe like a chapter or two, and after that I'm planning on moving on towards White Sand Volume 3 by Brandon Sanderson, so that I can finally finish the Cosmere. Well, not really finish it, but finish reading all the currently published works from the Cosmere. I'm very excited about this, and actually, because I have a mood read card for this month, one of the prompts that I got in my TBR was to read a mood read, and I haven't decided what that's gonna be. I'm really tempted to reread Dawn Chart, as I mentioned yesterday, but we'll see if I actually do that. My other option for a mood read is actually The Daughter's War by Christoffer. This is a book that came out this year. It's a novella, if I remember correctly, and it's the prequel to The Black Tongue Thief, which is one of the more interesting, original, and fun fantasy books that I have ever read, which is kind of ironic considering that it's part grimdark fantasy and part horror. So this novella came out this year, and it was on my most anticipated releases of 2024, and I still haven't read it, of course. I don't own it physically, but I can get it as an ebook always, and maybe I'll do just that. We'll see. There's still time. I don't have to decide right now, but I would also like to edit this vlog so that I can post it tonight, hopefully. Fingers crossed I actually manage, because I don't think I'll have time for editing tomorrow. Anyway, let's go do some reading. And by go, I obviously mean stay here. Ooh, also, I am wearing my Shalon Devar pin. So cute. Okay, hear me out. I think I have a radical idea. These windows here have not been cleaned in many moons, and I think I might just do it right now. Crazy, I know. Alright, so I don't know if you can tell the difference, but I definitely can. Even Old Man Chives looks so much better now without all the dry stuff on it. Very nice, I think. Definitely satisfied. Alright, listen people, don't panic, but I was actually able to finish White Sand Volume 3 by Brandon Sanderson, which means that as of right now, I have actually read every single Cosmere published work, and I am so very happy. Now, I didn't necessarily love this one because, as I've mentioned before, the art style of this graphic novel is not my favorite, and I think what I love the most about Sanderson's work, besides world building and magic systems, is his character work, and it's very difficult to develop that in a graphic novel. At least I don't think it translated that well into this particular one. I still enjoyed it though. I still learned some things about the Cosmere. I don't think it's a must for you to read it in order to enjoy the Cosmere, but I definitely am happy that I did it. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna give it yet. Definitely not gonna be a 5-star, though I think I'm gonna give 4.5 to 5 stars to The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson. It's right here actually. And I think it's important to mention that I am rating these works very high, but I'm also biased towards Sanderson's works. His writing is what got me back into reading after many years of undeserved rest. And because I can appreciate the massive scale on which everything in the Cosmere is happening, and I enjoy making the connections between the different books, I think that also influences my opinion and helps me to enjoy these works even more. So that aside, I had a very good time this weekend. It was very relaxing, exactly what I needed. I do wish it was slightly longer, but I'm also excited about the new work week because there are some exciting things that are going to be happening. So I'm going to end this vlog here. It is about 5 p.m. and I would like to edit this vlog and be able to post it tonight. so hopefully you'll be able to watch this mere hours after I have finished filming. I hope you enjoyed watching this insanely long video and that you had a lovely weekend, and if not, I wish you next week to be much better. And if you'd like to see some other random reading and not so much reading vlogs, check out this playlist. Bye!